Alright, welcome to another Adobe Illustrator tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you guys how to design the logo that you see here in front of me right now. So the first thing that we need to do is create a new canvas, and we're going to do that by going to File, New, and we're going to make sure that we have Web selected, and you want to use one artboard. The width is going to be 960 pixels by 560 pixels, and once you have that set, go ahead and click OK. So the first thing that we need to do is set our background color, and we're going to use a dark gray background color for this logo design. So in order to do that, we're going to select the rectangle tool, and then we're just going to select on the top right here, left click your mouse button and drag down to the left side. Now we need to change the color, so we're going to come down here to the fill and we're going to change it to a dark gray. And if you want to use the same gray that I used, you can use that number right there. Just put that in 212121 and then click OK. Now the next thing that we need to do when we're designing is we want this we don't want this background to be moving. We want it locked in. So we're going to come over to our layers, and if you don't have your layers palette showing up, you can click Windows and then click Layers, and it'll show your Windows palette here. We're going to click the drop down, and what we're going to do is lock that path in. And then what that'll do is allow us to design on top of it without it moving around. We're going to use that as our background. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to create our shapes, the shapes that you see here. And we do that by using the polygon tool. So go ahead and click the polygon tool. You're going to click in your canvas and just drag down. Now if your polygon has more than 5 points, you can change, like let's say that's what your polygon tool looks like. You can use your up and down arrows and change the number of points on your polygon. So we want to make sure we have 5 points, and then to make sure that our polygon is flat on the bottom and aligned correctly, we're going to hold down Shift, and what that'll do is keep the polygon aligned correctly. So we're going to make a size of about that big. Remember, since we're using vector shapes, we can change the size without it affecting the look. It's not like within Photoshop where the larger you make an image or smaller, it affects the pixels and becomes pixelated. So the first thing that we need to do is change the color. Now the color is not all that important right now, but we do need to be able to see what we're working on. So we're going to go down here to the fill, double click the fill, and we're going to come up here and drag it to the white. And now we don't want a border or a stroke, so we're going to come down here and click the stroke, and then click the white icon with the red dash through it, or the red line through it, and click None. Okay, so now that we have our shape, the next thing that we need to do is create our lines and our circles. So in order to do that, we come over to our line tool. You want to make sure you have your line segment tool selected, and somewhere up in this general direction, now you want to make sure that you have it directly center, and you're using the grids to help you do that. And you can show the grids by going to View and clicking Smart Grids. And what that does is shows you when you're aligned to the center of your shape. So in this general area, we're going to click, drag down, and hold Shift so that our line is perfectly straight. Now you do want the line to overlap on the image, so make sure that you have an overlap on the top and an overlap on the bottom. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is come down to our stroke, because we want to have a stroke, and we're going to click Color so that it provides the stroke. And we're going to change the stroke to somewhere around 8 points. Actually, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's go 9 points. Then we're going to select our selection tool, and I'm going to drag the line off and then back so that it'll realign to the center. And it should, if you have Smart Guides selected, it should lock on to the center. Okay, so we're just going to repeat this process to create our other lines. So click your line segment tool. We're going to start here, drag over, and it should lock in. Start at your bottom and drag over, and it should also lock in. Now the next thing that we're going to do is select here, and we're going to pull over somewhere in the center between the line that is to the top right and the line that is to the bottom left. This line right here and this line right here, we want somewhere in the center. Okay, so once you have the center located, just let go. Then we're going to do the same for this side. And since you've done the first image or the first line, it should create an intersection with the smart guides, and you'll know where to end the line on the right side. So you should have something that looks similar to this right here. So the next thing that we're going to do is click our selection tool, and we want to remove the lines that we don't need. So we don't need this line. We're going to hold down Shift, click this line. We're going to delete those lines. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Now the next thing that we need to do is create our circles. As you can see, we have our circles in these general locations right here. So we're going to click our ellipse tool, come to the center of these two lines, and it should light up and show the intersection. When you have that selected, you're going to hold down Alt and Shift, click down on your left mouse button, and drag out. You want to make your circle about that big, and then once you have that, just let go. Okay, now as you can see, we have a stroke and no background. We want the background and no stroke. So we're going to come down here. We're going to make sure that the stroke is selected. We're going to click None. We're going to click the Fill Color, come down to the collar, and click that. So you should have something that looks like this. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is click our circle. We're going to Control C, Control V. If you're on a Mac, I believe it's Command C and Command V. We just want to copy those, copy that circle, and we're going to come down down here, and we're going to place the circle at the end of this line. Now if it's not exactly aligned how you want it, you can use your up and down arrows. I'm going to use my up arrow to move it up a little bit. I'm going to Control Copy and Control V again, and I'm going to select this image right here, and I'm going to drag it down and make sure that it's aligned with the image, the circle on the left side. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we want to select the first circle, hold down Shift, your second circle, click your third circle, and then click both lines. So you want to make sure that you have all of your lines and your circles selected, not the main image on the background here, not this image right here. We're going to go to Object, Expand, click OK. Now we want to unite and merge all of these images together. We're going to do that with the Pathfinder. So if you don't have the Pathfinder showing up on the right side here, you can go to Window and click Pathfinder. And we're going to click the first one, which is Unite. We're going to unite them, and then the second one we're going to minus. Actually, before you click the minus, you want to highlight the entire image. So now we're going to click minus. And now as you can see, we have an image that looks similar to what we have here. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is, well, first let's select your entire image, hold down Shift, and right here you want to click and drag, and we're just going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Now the next part is a little bit difficult because we need the exact alignments. I'm not the best with math, so I usually try to freehand this. The next thing that we're going to do is click the line tool, and at the bottom here we're just going to click and drag a line down. And we may have to try this multiple times. We're going to come down and click the stroke tool, make sure that you click a collar, and then we're going to expand it, make it about 4 pixels or 4 point, and then drag it away, and we're going to bring it back so that we can have it aligned in the center. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we're going to select our image, not the line. We're going to click the rotate tool, and down at the bottom of your line you're going to click and then hold down Alt, and in this area on this image you're going to hold it down and drag. Now as you can see, we have a lot of space, and that's not how we want it. So what we need to do is just let go, hold Control Z, and then we're going to make this line a little bit longer. So click your line, drag it down, make it a little bit longer, and then we're going to repeat the process. So highlight your image, click the rotate tool, click your anchor and make your anchor down at the bottom. Again, we're going to hold down Alt and drag it to the side. And as you can see, we're getting a little bit closer. And you could even do it like this if you want to. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can line it up however you want. But again, I'm just going to Control Z, and I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to come down here and click the line. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. And I'm going to again repeat the process. Highlight your image, click your rotate, come down to the bottom, click and create your anchor, and then again hold Alt and click and drag. Now as you can see, now we have generally the spacing that we want. Okay, so once I have the spacing that I want, I'm just going to let go. And now to repeat that process, you hold down Shift and D, or I apologize, Control D. And we're going to let it come around all the way. Okay. Now we do have some space here. That's fine. We're not going to be using all of these. I just wanted to show you how you can create it to come all the way around. We're going to click our selection tool, and we no longer need this line, so we're going to delete that line. Okay, so I'm going to hold down Control, hit 0, and that will zoom out. And I'm going to highlight our image, hold down Shift and drag and make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so now if we come back over to our other image, you can see that we have a space here. So we're going to come back over and we're going to remove one of these images. So just highlight it and hit delete. So the next thing we need to do is highlight our image. We're going to come up here and we're going to drag it around. So you should have something like that. Okay, so we want to move this to the center of our canvas. Now the next thing that we want to do is set up our colors. So coming over, you have your swatches. We're going to create swatches. Okay, so we have, if we look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors, 4 different tones of gray. So we're going to come down to our fill. We're going to double click our fill, and we're going to start with a semi-dark gray, so somewhere around 51, 51, 51, and just click OK. Come back up to your swatches. We're going to create a new folder, so just click New Folder, and you can name it Grayscale. As you can see, it creates a new folder over here, and then we're going to take that gray and drag it into the folder. Okay, so the next gray that we want is to be a little bit lighter than that gray. So we're going to come up and choose another gray, but a little bit lighter. So this is the gray that I use for that. 6D, 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 click OK. We're going to click that collar and drag it on over. Okay, and we're going to repeat this process. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. 82, 82, 82 is the color for that. We're going to click and drag it over. Okay, so now we have 3 of our grays, and we need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we need 1 more. So we're going to double click again, and we're going to make this one even lighter. I used AF, 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 and we're going to click OK. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drag that gray over. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is click the direct selection tool, and that's going to allow us to click each one of these shapes individually. So we're going to click the first shape, and then we're going to click the first color. Second shape, second color. Third shape, third color. Fourth shape, fourth color. Okay, and you should have something that looks like this. And we're just going to repeat that process for each individual shape. Nothing to it. Pretty simple. All you're doing is repeating the process until you have all of your shapes colored in. And again, if you want to If you want to use a different color, you could use a blue, you could use reds, you could use orange, you could use pretty much any color that you want. I'm just choosing to use gray for this tutorial, but like I said, you can use any color that you want. So we're almost done. Somewhat tedious, but once you have the color done, you're good to go. Alright, on our last color here. And there you go. As you can see, we now have our shape with the color set up that we want. So the next thing that we need to do is, I'm just going to move this up a little bit, and next thing we want to do is add the text at the bottom, which would be the company name or whatever you decide to put down there. So let me see what font I used here. I like this font. So I used Lucida Handwriting Italic. Okay, so I'm going to come over to the canvas, click in this general location. We're going to set it to somewhere around 65 point, come down, and then do, let's say, interior design. Now we would need to highlight that and change the color, so we're going to change the color. Actually, let's cancel that. Let's change the color for now using the paint, or using the eyedropper, and then just come up here and click one of these just for now so that we can what's going on here. Let's see where our text is at. Looks like our text is below, so I need to drag that up. We're going to come down here and type in Lucida, and I believe we used Lucida Handwriting Italic. There we go. Okay, so I want to make the first text a white, so I'm going to double click fill, make that white, and then we're going to make the next one a little darker, so just repeat the process, and this time we're going to use the eyedropper tool, and then we're going to click, I want to use that, let's say I want to use that gray right there. Come on now. Click the eyedropper tool again. It's not working out for me here. And we're going to click white again. There we go. Alright, now once you have your text, you want to make sure that it's centered to your design. So we're going to bring it to the center, and then you can use your arrow keys to move it to be exactly centered with your image above. That's pretty much it. That's how you design the interior design logo. So if you guys like this tutorial, I have more tutorials on my website. I'm basically trying to do a logo design tutorial a day and different types of web design and landing page designs and things like that. So if you like this design tutorial, check out some of my other tutorials and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any specific types of logo designs or tutorials that you would like me to record. Thanks for watching, guys.